Back to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message from Virgo. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. Always interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Now, if you're new to the channel, you know that I like to look. You'll soon find out, actually, that I like to look at everything. I don't just look at the what's going on the surface, like what your person feels about you, what they're going to do, but like what the spiritual blocks are, the shadows, how they play out as karmic themes, gives you an opportunity to heal. I mean, there's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on what you do. And when you attract any type of soulmate, there's a bigger reason why you attract this person into your life. You're attracting them to really help you evolve into the highest state of consciousness, which is unconditional love. When we get triggered, is obviously because there's shadows, there's wounding that hasn't been healed. A lot of times the person doesn't just come in and do something. They're usually activating old wounds. We wouldn't be aware of what those wounds were. Projection is what allows us to see that. So if you're able to navigate your relationship differently, you're actually able to see your situation play out a lot differently. And that is why I do those type of readings, because they're healing. That's how we don't take on the energy of what a person does to us, because a lot of times what they show us and truly what their hidden truths are about us are two different things. Okay, now if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always the underlying energy that influences why everyone's doing what they're doing. We don't see it, we just see the act. Okay, wisdom. So I like Virgo, I'm kind of feeling like you're someone that's very spiritual, you're someone that's very intuitive, and I feel like you have a deep connection to this person. Like it's almost like you understand why they go through what they go through, and you understand how they, how they manifest and why they don't trust themselves and why their behaviorisms are what they are, even though that this person didn't treat you well. I feel like this person, when you met them, was arrogant, but I don't feel like they're arrogant anymore. I feel as if when you met this person like was a commitment phobe. They didn't want to like settle down. They didn't want to take the relationship seriously. They didn't really want to care about your feelings. There was someone that was very, very selfish. And that's why I said I feel like you're coming from this higher wisdom, and this higher wisdom is really of unconditional love. And the only way that that can happen is if you truly have feelings for this person. I also believe that this connection is supposed to help you both evolve into the highest state of consciousness to obtain this, this wisdom, this knowledge. And this wisdom and knowledge is one of transmutation of spiritual blocks, of healing your own wounds so that you can become whole. Now, this is the underlying energy, which is intense energy, because even if a person doesn't know that it's twin flame energy, which, by the way, I picked up, this the phoenix, right? And then so we know the two colors like fire and ice, it's very twin flamey. And a lot of times when both parties come out of a dark night of the soul, they rise to the ashes. They both, and so it's a way to transmute through these stubborn blocks. So I feel like you're both twin flames, and then on top of it, there's both of you coming out of a dark night of the soul for different reasons. How did you influence this person's dark night of the soul? Maybe a little bit, but not. I mean, it was their life. Their life had to like end from that level of consciousness. So again, where they were very selfish, and that's just within their relationships. And if a person's selfish, they usually have, character traits that are in alignment with that, with business and other areas of their life. And when we live out of alignment with the laws of God, the laws of the universe, which are the same thing, they all derive from unconditional love. What winds up happening is we obtain karma. So I feel like, you know, karma, the universe always comes back to collect its karma, and the bigger we are, the harder we fall. And I feel like this person was, you know, had a big head. Now they don't. They, you know, thought who they were. So it's like the walls of who they truly are like being ripped apart. So I feel like, again, they're going through a dark night of the soul, or just coming out of the dark night of the soul, which had to happen. Okay, let's see. So again, moving on. So there's a sense of, yeah, this person knows it's again the end of an old lifestyle. And so I feel like before they weren't ready to have you in their life at all. It's like they were, I feel like they were connected to people, they were in business, they were like all the energy went to everything else except for you. Even though that there was a connection, this person doesn't hold relationships of high value because no one ever treated them with high value. That's what I feel like. I feel like they continually live a karmic theme where people like use them. Like you use them for money, and possibly because they're not emotionally intelligent, so they don't really pay attention to other people's needs. And anyone that's with them for a long period of time feels like they're drained, giving everything, so they feel like it's payback. So there's a sense that your person doesn't really even believe that they can have love, but they're moving on from whatever that situation. I feel like they're more open to coming towards you again because there's unconditional love here. Again, the romance, this person wants romance. This person, again, sees you as that. So it's again, they compartmentalize absolutely. It's again, this person has shadows, and when a person has shadows, they departmentalize. And so this person would need to be taught how to be a friend. Does it mean that they don't know? They're ready to give you the time, they're ready to give you the appreciation, they're ready to give you the friendship, but do they know how? Like that's remember, that's where their wounding is, but they are ready to do that. It's again because they feel like again that they see the partnership that they can have with you. It, again, they are like seeing it
From Instagram,
and I
Master
like,
Psychic Healer.
oh,
Fix Medical Podcast. Started I lived in.
sorry about that. So, you know, so they feel it. They feel that connection. They feel that synergy between you and them, and that is so. And there's been time apart. You know what I mean? And I feel like it normally doesn't care. This person's not really doesn't invest enough to really care about anybody, you know, except for themselves. That's what it looks like. And so again, and they're right now, again, they're very lonely. They're very lonely. So it's again, whoever was in their life, whatever's transpired, I feel like it's the end of the old. It's again, so this person is like starting fresh and they're actually looking for a friendship. That like, do they have feelings? They have feelings, but I feel like they're terrified. I feel like they want a friend. They feel like you'd be a safe space for them. Now, I'm going to pull one more and then go and actually see something Black Widow again. Yeah, because like that, this is what Black Widow betrayal. So you have to be careful because again, people have betrayed this person in the past, and I feel like they're always looking for an issue. That's number one, because again, they haven't healed. So there's also a sense that you have to be careful that they don't, you know, come in, utilize your resources, not because that they don't have feelings. They would have feelings, but they're not in a balanced place. So because they're not in a balanced place, because again, they don't know who they are, there's a sense of, you know, life, like needing to start over, needing a role model, needing like a person. And if you overgive with the expectation that you're going to be able to get back a fair amount, you're not. So you have to put this in balance because Black Widow warns us of that. Otherwise, again, betrayal. So is it karmic, a karmic relationship? It's a karmic relationship, and not, but because it's learned. Would this person intentionally do that? No, they wouldn't intentionally do it. But they haven't had good relationships. So that's the issue. Their way of being a relationship, like they're with toxic people normally. And I say that because no one's going to be with someone that doesn't emotionally give them anything, that doesn't get that breadcrumbs, gives so little, and they're starving themselves out. They got to be getting something. And I think your person didn't care. Okay, our union energy needs clearing. Repeat this like down 11 times with slow, deep breaths. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I'm grateful for you. So there's a sense that this person knows that they've, damaged a divine union, and they also feel like you're angry with them. But I believe that that's a spiritual lesson. So we have to say, why would you attract a person like this? That's, again, is not as evolved as you. Why? Because understand, every single person that comes into our life to teach us something. So if we understand the deeper meaning of why this person has come into our life, then we're able to navigate the relationship with balance. And that means emotionally, we're not going to get hurt. It also means we haven't given like such an over amount where the other person hasn't. Like, so but if we, again, need to hear forgiveness, it means that we're coming in already jaded into a relationship, so which is what I'm really feeling. I'm feeling like you grew up in a family that, again, the karmic theme was, love came with conditions. And so you're attracting someone that is your opposite, right? That's going to trigger you because just because we, like crash and burn, the phoenix rises through the ashes, and as it does, it pierces through those spiritual blocks. And it can only do this with the energy of God, which is unconditional love. That's the only universal panacea. That's the only one. So again, forgiveness. So this is huge because it's like, well, forget, like being told that it's okay for whatever you did, even though you may not like how they did what they did or why they did what they did. It's, again, a twin flame union. It shows unconditional love. So you're learning the lessons of love without abandoning yourself. That you're finding balance in the situation where at one time I feel like you both were not allowed to make a mistake. You had to be perfect, or the perception was. And if you didn't, then you weren't forgiven. And so, and that also being grateful for you. I'm grateful for you. And it's, again, that it's okay to show vulnerability, that both of you were not allowed to be vulnerable. You grew up in environments where, like, if you showed any type of emotion, it was like shut down because the parents didn't feel comfortable with their emotions. This is how ancestral karma is handed down. So it's learning those lessons. Again, I'm going to say it again because it's huge. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I love you. I'm grateful for you. This is the foundation of a strong union, that that both parties can feel vulnerable, so that they can be truly who they are, so that they can express themselves and step into the best version of themselves. Otherwise, we don't have a good foundation. I'm only going to pull two more. I'm realizing this connection is something special and worth treasuring. So it's, again, like I said, you don't believe that your person like ever had a type of relationship like this before. So again, they wouldn't allow themselves. So, I believe it's always a timing thing, and that your spirit and this person's spirit was ready to step into this twin flame journey at this time. But I also believe that there was a lot of healing that got you to this place. So this could be a relationship that's taken like 6 or 7 years to unfold, and you're like, and it never has gotten off the ground yet, And because The lesson is unconditional love, that nothing can break that, because that's the energy of God. That's the energy of the universe. That's the energy that's inside each and every single one of us. And when we meet our person, we recognize them because they feel like home. And so I feel your energy around me, and I wonder, are you thinking of me too? Again, both parties have fear of abandonment because remember, they were not allowed to grow up in an environment to be vulnerable. So I like to always pull three inner child wounds, because sometimes they're gifts. Sometimes, like our shadows that were created from the inner child, they're not always wounds. So a lot of times, like I said, we find our gifts, we find our talents there. You may be someone that has a lot of trauma from inner childhood, said, I never found what I'm supposed to do, and that means you need to invest in yourself. Joy, joy, the real happiness of life is love. Is again, if you don't feel loved, you're not going to feel joy. If you don't feel loved, you're not going to feel supported to really go out and find out what really stirs up your soul, what brings you joy. I mean, the choices become limited because you feel like somebody else is making your choices. Feeling unworthy of joy, feeling not good enough. Again, I need to be a certain way. That's the perception. And this is what happens when we inherit family karma. It's not a blame game. We have to understand where the spiritual wound came from in order to really integrate it, in order to really forgive, and to realize that our ancestors, they didn't know. They were only taught from a dogmatic practice, and that dogmatic practice was very logical, very linear, and it was somebody else's experience. So there was no real emotional connection. And as human beings, we need to learn from those emotional connections. That's why when we're in a connection with someone that emotionally doesn't give us, it affects us. It affects us psychologically, it affects us spiritually, and obviously emotionally. And again, anchor, needing to realize that the anchor is, again, the ground, is your connection to God, is your connection to the earth, is the connection to your physical body. When we don't feel supported, when we feel that we need to be a certain way, where we get trained to lie, we get trained to be up in our head, we get trained to strategize our life instead of living our bliss, we're living more from this departmentalized, logical, linear way, and we're not going to get good results, because life is not just that. Yes, it's great if you're a business and you want to learn how to start up a company or how to create whatever you want to create, the roots will be there. But after the roots, there needs to be creative expression. There needs to be unique individuality, because that is love. It's you understanding who you are, and to be that expression of love. This is how you co-create. And so if you don't, if you're too busy looking to survive because of the environment that you grew up in, well, then you're not creating yourself. So the real anchor is, again, finding joy in life and healing unworthiness. That is what both parties are really, that spiritual block, which is a root chakra imbalance. Obviously, if that root chakra is imbalanced, all the other chakras are off. So we're not going to be able to manifest anything, because again, we don't feel good about ourselves. And that is how we need to, again, why we need to integrate that. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Oh, one more. I just say, divine fruit. I always ask, well, Spirit, is there anything, that can help us to even balance out the energy even more if we decide to be with this person? If we decide to be with this person, obviously we know it's going to be a little bit challenging. Is there anything else? And so Spirit says, as I work to improve and free myself, I strengthen my foundation. My intellect is light, my heart is warmth, and my soul is strength. I am nurtured by the divine sun. The fruit I bear reflects my inner light. So Spirit is saying, both of you have come into each other's life to help make the best version of yourself. Yes, you have this higher wisdom right now, but I believe that this person that has other things, and if you're patient, which again, most likely no one was patient with you, so you would get a person that probably moves like really snail slow just to trigger you, because spirit's saying that unconditional love is patient, it's kind. It's like you can't be looking at the time. It's like if we have to get back to unconditional love, and it's hard, but that's why you're getting somebody that really it's divine fruit, right? I mean, the fruits of life. What better is when you are in alignment and both parties feel comfortable to open up, to become themselves again, to find themselves, to both hold space for each other while they both work on each other, meaning you work on you, they work on themselves, and you learn how to be in a relationship at the same time. And that is really how you transmute those wounds. All right, I'm going to leave that there now. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.